Welcome back to AI Unraveled, your strategic briefing on the business impact of artificial intelligence. It is December 25th, 2025. So, we're looking at the state of healthcare AI in late 2025. And honestly, if you just look at the headlines, you'd think the race was over in August when OpenAI dropped GPT-5. Today, we are taking you inside the most critical battleground of the year, the hospital data center. In August, OpenAI dazzled the world with GPT-5, a model so diagnostically sharp it could pass board exams in its sleep. But then, in November, Google dropped Gemini 3, and they didn't bring a smarter doctor, they brought a better lawyer. This episode is a comparative analysis of these two giants, specifically through the lens of regulatory compliance. Our thesis is controversial but data driven. While GPT-5 may be the smarter conversationalist, Gemini 3 has built the superior architecture for not getting sued. From the deep think citations to the massive 1 million token context windows that eliminate the risks of context amputation, we explain why the boring choice is becoming the dominant choice for healthcare CIOs. Now, let's unravel the compliance advantage. So, we're looking at the state of healthcare AI in late 2025. And honestly, if you just look at the headlines, you'd think the race was over in August when OpenAI dropped GPT 5.
Right. I mean, the numbers were staggering. It scored almost 96% on the medical licensing exam. Basically, it's Doctor House in a box. It's brilliant. It's creative.
Exactly. But then November rolls around, Google drops Gemini 3, and suddenly every hospital CIO and compliance officer starts pivoting. And that's what we're digging into today. Why does the boring choice, Gemini 3, actually win when it comes to the messy, high stakes world of healthcare compliance?
Yeah, it's a classic case of capabilities versus utility. Because here's the thing. In a hospital, diagnosing a rare disease is actually a tiny percentage of the work. The real mountain is paperwork, it's auditing, it's making sure you don't get fined by the government.
And that's where this deep think feature in Gemini 3 comes in, right? The report calls it the difference between a creative strategist and an analyst partner.
That is the perfect analogy. So, GPT-5, it's confident. It has this editorial voice. It wants to give you a fluent, convincing answer. That's great for a chat, but in compliance, confidence is dangerous. If the AI is 100% confident about a billing code that doesn't exist, you just committed fraud.
Yikes.
Gemini 3, specifically with this deep think mode enabled, behaves differently. It's designed to be conservative. It's almost anxious. It flags uncertainty. It says, I found this, but I'm not sure about that. And it cites everything.
Which is exactly what an auditor wants. You want the guy who double checks his math, not the guy who guesses and hopes he's right.
Precisely. But the biggest technical differentiator, and I think this is the game changer, is the memory, the context window.
The 1 million token thing.
Right. So, for listeners who don't live in AI specs, GPT-5 has about a 400,000 token limit. That sounds like a lot, but a longitudinal patient record, we're talking 10 years of notes, lab results, massive PDFs, that can easily blow past that.
So, what happens when the file's too big?
You have to do something called chunking. You chop the record into little pieces, feed it to the AI, and hope the relevant piece gets retrieved. We call it RAG, Retrieved Augmented Generation. But here's the nightmare scenario. What if the one piece of paper that proves a patient is allergic to a drug doesn't get retrieved?
The AI just assumes it doesn't exist.
Exactly. Hallucination by omission. Gemini 3, with that 1 million token window, just swallows the entire record. It holds the whole thing in working memory. So when you ask, is there any contraindication in the last 5 years, it's scanning every single page. It doesn't rely on a search algorithm to guess what's important.
That's huge for audit trails. But wait, isn't processing that much data incredibly expensive? I imagine feeding a novel into an AI every time you have a question costs a fortune.
It used to, but this is where Google played a really smart economic card. They introduced context caching.
Like a browser cache?
Sort of. Think of it like this. You pay to upload that massive patient file once, say on Monday morning. The system caches it. Then, for the rest of the week, every time you ask a question about that patient, you get a 90% discount.
Wow. So you're not paying to reread the book every time.
Exactly. You load the patient context, and then you unleash these compliance agents to just hammer it with queries. Check for billing errors, check for drug interactions, draft an appeal letter. It makes the economics of deep auditing actually work.
You mentioned agents. That's another buzzword, but the report mentions something called anti gravity.
Yeah, Google Anti-Gravity. It's basically an IDE, a workspace for building these AI agents. But the key for healthcare is how it handles human in the loop.
Because you can't just let the AI run wild with patient data.
Right. GPT-5's agent setup is a bit more, trust me, I'll handle it. Anti-gravity is built so you can see the artifacts. You don't just get the final billing code, you see the spreadsheet the agent built to get there. You can leave comments on its work in progress, just like a Google Doc.
So it's less AI overlord and more junior intern you can correct.
Bang on. And for a compliance officer, that visibility is everything. If an auditor comes knocking, you can show them exactly how the AI reached its conclusion.
One last thing before we wrap up multimodality. We always talk about text, but medical records are images, scans, videos.
This is where Gemini 3 really flexes. It's native multimodal. That means it didn't just learn text and then learn images later. It learned them together.
Why does that matter?
Chain of evidence. Let's say you're denying a claim for a wound care procedure. Gemini 3 can look at the video of the wound, correlate it with the nurse's written note, and say, the video at timestamp 0.45 contradicts the note on page 3. It links the visual evidence directly to the compliance decision. GPT-5 struggles with that level of precise video-to-text grounding.
So, to summarize, GPT-5 is the brilliant diagnostician you want in the ER, but Gemini 3 is the paranoid, meticulous auditor you want in the back office.
And in 2025, with regulations being what they are, the paranoid auditor is the one who keeps the hospital doors open.
Fascinating stuff. Thanks for breaking it down.
Anytime.
That wraps up today's special report. The signal for today is auditability. In the high stakes world of healthcare, the correct answer is worthless if you cannot prove how you derived it. GPT-5 offers the confidence of a senior surgeon, but Gemini 3 offers the paper trail of a forensic accountant. With features like context caching and the anti-gravity platform's transparent agent orchestration, Google is betting that in 2026, the killer app for AI isn't creativity, it's compliance. Please subscribe and share. Until next time, keep unraveling the future.